Legislative and Legal Affairs meeting to order. It is 6:02, sorry. And before we get started, we have to do a roll call vote for the committee members. So with that, Katie Roby, are you hearing us?
Katie Roby is present.
And Councilor Don Landers? Okay. And I am present, live, in action. Okay, so let's see, let's read off the order. Order number 20-100, 8045, communication from Attorney Semikanian on behalf of Paul Griffin Jr., trustee of Union Realty Trust, regarding proposed license to encroach for the purpose of placing a handicapped access ramp at 270 to 276 Main Street. And today we have with us Tom DePercio and our building commissioner, Jeff Cook. And do we have Jason, our solicitor? Jason, can you hear us? I see him, he's on the screen, but I don't hear him yet. All right, well, why don't we get started, and then Jason can chime in when he's ready. So Sam, maybe you can give us a brief synopsis of what you got going here with Paul Griffin.
Yeah, so, okay, and I know this, I don't know if people are hearing me great or not, but I'll do the best I can.
We can hear you fine. Yep.
Okay, this is the 270 to 276 Main Street property. My client's Paul Griffin, trustee of Union Realty Trust. The property was damaged by fire in 2019. Has gone. It's a mixed-use property. There is residential as well as commercial use on the first floor, and it's gone through quite a rehabilitation, and through the cooperation of the building commissioner and my client, they've got it to where they've got it mostly open. The couple of the stores that require this handicap access, and the way this old structure is, the handicap quote-unquote ramps have to encroach upon the city's right-of-way in the sidewalk. So this is a request for a license, which is can be, of course, revoked if my client doesn't comply with the terms of it. It has been vetted, I believe, by the engineering office and the building commissioner, and of course legal, and I believe is in acceptable form for signature. I mean, for endorsement.
All right, great, thanks. And you received the latest from Jason, his license to encroach. You have received that?
Yes, that's what the one I'm referring to.
Yep.
And yes.
Okay. And you have the communication from Tom DePercio, his bullets that he outlined?
I don't know if I have that one.
Okay. Hang on one second. Okay. I'm going to read a few, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I believe they've been incorporated, but go ahead.
Yeah, our assistant will send you a copy as well. All right. Okay. Regarding order number 20-100, 8045, which has been referred to the engineering department, proposed license to encroach from Paul Griffin for handicap access ramps at 270-276 Main Street. I offer the following for your consideration. 1, DPW is willing to consider this request because based on discussions with the building commissioner, it is my understanding that the granting the license for the construction of the ramps, which will provide the benefit to the business owners and residents, will also provide the city with some good goodwill with the Architectural Access Board. Number 2, it is critical that the ramps be constructed such that sufficient area for sidewalk, plow maneuverability is maintained. There is a light pole near the ramp for number 274, which would block plow access between the ramp and the pole. The design would have to be changed, or possibly this ramp removed. Number 3, there is also one tree that would prevent plow access near the ramp for number 270. This tree will need to be removed. The owner should be required to replace the tree in kind, and since the existing tree is large and established, several similar trees would be required to provide an in-kind replacement. After discussion with the tree warden, the request would be that the owner provide 4 new trees that the city could replant in our ongoing Main Street tree replacement program. Number 4, as the ramps will likely be hit by sidewalk plows on occasion, they shall be constructed using durable materials. My recommendation is that they be constructed using granite curbing to match the existing granite curb along the road, and that a construction detail be provided for approval. 5, I would prefer that the ramps be constructed such that the railings are not needed by building code if where possible. The building commissioner should be consulted on the requirements, but my understanding is that at least some of the ramps may not need railings if designed accordingly. And lastly, I recommend that the license include language stating that all future maintenance and repairs of ramps, include damage that may be caused by city plows, shall be the responsibility of the owner. And that is the summary from Tom. So we will send you that, we'll forward you that email as well.
Mr. Chairman, what's the date of that communication?
September 21.
Okay.
All right. Any questions from our councilors? Council Landers.
Again, City Engineer DePercio did an excellent job. In fact, I think he hit 3 out of the 5 points. I was kind of concerned about maneuverability. And I think the only area we goofed on, or I goofed on, you guys looking for 4 trees. I thought 2 trees would have been enough. But basically, I think, Tom, you did a good job. And the railings, that should be interesting. I thought, somewhere along the line, if it's raised so many inches, it will need some type of railing. But I think Tom is right that maybe something could be done to eliminate railings. I'm always worried about people holding on to them, slipping, kids playing with them and that stuff. But, Tom, I think you did an excellent job coming up with some of these bullets here. So as a result, if we follow those, Mr. Chairman, I think this is, it's good to have it. It's good to have it for that building. It's obvious there's a need for it. Right. So I guess if we go along with most of the changes and the attorney, Kanian, has a chance to look at these, that I think it's a goal from my point of view. Thank you.
Very good. Council Roby, you have any comments? I'll go to committee first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would also agree. I guess I'm curious, and my understanding are both of the solicitors are on the call. How do we incorporate the requests from Mr. DePercio into the license to encroach? Or do we add a condition that these are part of it? And I guess the question for Mr. Akinian would be, are these amenable to his client?
Right, so I can address the latter one if unless you want to hear from City Solicitor's Office first. Since they don't seem to be going, I'll go ahead and answer your question. it should be noted that my original communication to the council was on May 28th, 2020. It's been a frustrating road. Now, I understand that, we're in the middle of a global pandemic, so we've been patient. But as you not point out, but as you infer in your comment, I just got these things today. So, just 2 seconds ago. So I do think that I'm going to need to discuss this with my client, and maybe there's some room for, even as Council Landis suggested, maybe there's some room for some give and take over some of the conditions, but I think he needs to absorb, the effects of what it's going to mean in terms of granite and so forth. So I don't know if you can keep this hearing open till your next meeting before you report out of committee. That would be something that I think, if possible, I would suggest, or request, I should say.
Okay, Counsel Lossing?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I had two issues. One, I agree with Attorney Kanian, we should keep this open to I would postpone this to next week or to your next meeting date, just so that the applicant has an opportunity to review the conditions. And the second part is on the solicitor's revised order that lists, it says the site plan attached. My version of the plan attached would be what site plan approves, that has the granite curbing and all that stuff, assuming it's that, because right now there's nothing attached to the solicitor's order. So I want to know what that attached drawing looks like. No disrespect, Attorney Kanian, the one that came with the package, it was more like a rough sketch, and now that the engineering department has had an opportunity to look at it, I would expect that the attached plan, or if it's not the attached plan, should be worded, what's approved by site plan is what's part of that order, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Counselor. Do we have Jason on?
Yes.
Oh.
Hi, good evening.
All right.
Sorry, I was having some audio difficulties on my end, but in terms of the plan that would be attached, I think that could, if it's going to be kept in committee, that plan, if there's a plan that at least shows the exact area that we're talking about, that would be the limits of where this ramp would go, that would be sufficient for a licensing purpose. But the whole license is subject to a site plan approval where the details would need to be ironed out with a final plan that would be acceptable at that point.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I can step back in here, it's my understanding that really all we're granting is the license to encroach. The actual plan for the ramp would then be under the purview of the building commissioner. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Grossfield?
Right, that's right. The chair, would be sort of an administrative site plan approval process, yeah.
And the plan that we had in the original packet just shows the area that would be where the ramp would be. The specificity of that ramp comes through site plan, correct?
Through the chair, that's correct.
So would the attachment be the plan of the area, or would it be the site plan, or would it be both? Because we're not approving site plan. We're only approving the area where we're letting them put something.
Correct, right. So through the chair, so a plan just showing the area to be licensed would be sufficient to license, and then the actual plan of the ramp and its attributes would be done in site plan.
And Mr. Cook is there, so he would make sure he followed the suggestions from Mr. DePercio.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you done, Counsel Roby?
Oh, I guess I want to make sure Mr. Cook is in agreement with
Oh.
Mr. DePercio, because he, I guess, has final say.
1 second. He's coming to a mic.
Yes, I'm in full agreement with Mr. DePercio.
Okay, so we need to have time for Mr. Kanian to talk to his client. Unless somebody else has anything else to say, I would move to postpone to next meeting.
Okay, before we postpone, I think we have a couple comments from Tom, Jeff, and Council Ossing, so.
Okay,
Tom-
I'll
I'm gonna-
hold.
Council Ossing, did you have a comment?
I just wanted through, and it could be through Tom or Mr. Grossfield, the beginning of the order states that this license to encroach is subject to site plan approval. So I'm okay if that's gonna encompass all what the city engineering and commissioner want, if that works. That language is good for me.
Okay. Tom, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, these were memorialized yesterday, but these are all issues that we discussed with the owner who have, several months ago, as Attorney Akanian mentioned, it's been going for a while. So none of this should be a surprise to the owner. The only difference was the granite curbing, and in my opinion, I don't think that's gonna be a more expensive construction method than what he was talking about, which was something with a brick veneer that I really don't think was gonna hold up to plow traffic. And we had kind of asked for more of a construction detail from the owner to go along with, other than just the actual detail of the construction. I think this plan is sufficient to go with the license. It shows the area, it outlines the square footages of the easements or the license areas. So I just wanted to make the committee aware that, it was given to you yesterday, but these are issues that we had discussed with the owner, so I don't expect there to be any surprises there on his end.
So in light of Tom's comments, yeah, I would request that we go ahead and report this license out favorably to the council with the license as presented by the city solicitor's office, together with the sketch plan that has been submitted with the packet. And then offline, my guy will have to satisfy Mr. Cook and Mr. DePercio, and I suppose there might be back and forth, but I'm comfortable that they can work together to get it done.
Commissioner Cook, did you have a comment? Or no?
Tom beat me to it, that I was just gonna say the only thing that we changed that the owner didn't know, part of it was the change to the granite, which might be a little bit more costly, but I think construction-wise, I think that cost drops down than doing their brick veneer, and I think it's a much more stable, long-term repair to it, or fix to it.
Okay. Mr. Kanian, is that, do you think you need time to meet with your client?
No, I think they can deal with Mr. Cook's office to get it approved. Specifics. He'll submit the details, the specs to Mr. Cook's office, and they'll review it. So I think that's fine.
Okay, sounds good. Council Landis has a question.
Yeah, well, I comment, Mr. Chairman, quite honestly, I'd like to move forward on this. I'm comfortable that we vote for the license, and we've always entrusted the commissioner, the engineer, in site plan review, and we've done that on many projects, so I'm going to move forward. I'll actually give you a motion if you'd like, Mr. Chairman.
We gotta take care of Katie's motion that she, one second, the commissioner has one more comment before we.
I'd just like to state, this can't happen in a lot of other areas along the main street. It can happen in this area. We can approve this because the sidewalk is so wide, 11 feet wide at that point. So this is nothing that can happen all the way down Main Street. We have the opportunity to approve this only because of the width of the sidewalk. And the applicant bears all the costs to this. We, the city, will have no cost to it. That's one of my concerns, that we don't pass this, absorb any costs.
Thank you. Counsel Roby, did you want to amend that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was going to move to postpone, but I think Attorney Akanian had said he was comfortable with all of this, so I guess I'm in agreement with Counselor Landers. I was going to ask, because I know that with some of the restaurants on Main Street, there have been some comments from the Commission on Disabilities for sidewalk accessibility, so it's good to know that this does not or will not cause an issue for people getting by with wheelchairs or walking with strollers or walking side by side, so that's good to know. I'm going to move to recommend approval of the license to encroach as written by the solicitor.
Excellent. I'll second that motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
I think you need to do
Oh,
a roll
I'm sorry.
call, Mr. Chair.
All right, roll call. Counsel Landers.
Council Landis votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Tenera. Counselor Tenera votes yes. All right, we're all set. So this will go to the appropriate places, and I guess we'll be voting on this next meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
the logistical question, logistical and procedural question for Jason. When this gets, if it gets approved by the city council, I notice you have a line for the grantee or the licensee to sign. So we'll just need some direction at that point as to when he's supposed to and how he's supposed to come down and sign it, because I'll need this document with the plan to record. So I guess someone will tell me how that's going to happen later on.
Through the chair, yes. Yeah, I think either us or the city clerk's office would facilitate it.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Chair, this is Counselor Roby. I would be amenable to doing a suspension at our next meeting. I know, as was mentioned, this has been sitting out there for a while. So if we don't have to hold it till October 19th, it would be nice to move it.
In all agreement, yeah? Do we need a roll call vote on that? Okay.
I think you can just ask for a suspension on the 5th.
Okay. All right, very good.
And I
Thank
don't
you.
think we have anything else, so I'm going to move to adjourn.
Thank you, I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Roll call.
Oh, roll call. Counsel Landis.
Council Landis votes yes for adjournment.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Tenera. Counselor Tenera votes yes. We are adjourned. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks,
you.